for you, you know how to cook. Cook. Esther, the challenge you're having, you girls, when you help you to cook, tubakwatirako mu kifuula kya buli lunaku. Gwe nga naawe bwe tukwatirako kifuula kya buli lunaku, kino tulina okuzaalira kiki naye. Lord have mercy. I don't need to first get married to know how to treat a husband. Watch obutuusi. You don't know people. Don't assume. Learn people. You start small. Start small. Help your boy child. Train a father. Train a friend in him. He needs to know how to be a friend and how to make friends and know how to keep friends. Make your child your first friend. You be his first best friend so that he knows who a friend is. A friend cares about other people's well-being. Rachi, now obo yagala bakufeeko. Why are you one-sided? It's about you. I've moved with people nga it's about them, and man, I'm like, what's wrong with people? You want me to learn you. When are you going to get time to learn me? Esther, I don't have time to learn you. Then what are you doing with me? Just let me go. Me, I won't let you go. My assignment in your life is not yet done. But if you feel that I'm taking a lot of your space, please, you can block me. Banji babikoze, so sikipya. You can block me if it's a group. Remove me. Hide your number. They all started with an idea backed up by knowledge and were made possible through hard work and an iron will to succeed. And iron sharpens iron. Why is it that when it's my turn to sharpen you, you find it offensive, but you want to sharpen me? Who told you that I can't sharpen you? It's only people who are deep will understand the deep me. You just use the terms that iron sharpens iron. Do you know what it even means? That class will come on its own. Why do you want to educate me? Why do you want to counsel me? Why do you think ebibyo bye biri important? Nze siri important. I have looked at people telling us to support their hustles. Simanya programs zijja tuyamba nnyo. Who tells you? Nga you're teaching me ebintu already byemmanyi. I come to support you because I love you. But I don't need to attend your things, trust me. When I need mother things, mama wange jali. When I need father things, tata wange jali. I have seen it all. Nendaba ne kubafumba abalala nga babonaabona n'obufumbo bwabwe ng'obwaffe buli tirirititi. Bwe mba njagala abantu abazadde abangi, abaana abangi, tata wange tata we yamuzaala n'abaana bangi mu bakazi banjawulo. Ne jjajja mukyala waatu. Both sides. Kati, I know how it is. I don't need to come to you for you to teach me how to have a stepchild, a stepmother, stepfather. Ebyo biri eri. Mama byagala nja birumba. Njagala ba divorce. Katonda wange. I don't need to attend your thing. Mukusomesa abaana. Katonda tulinamu PhD. Business, mama wange is the biggest entrepreneur I know. Omanya abantu bayambye ne batandika businesses zaabwe nga batutemagezi ge ne balinnya waggulu ne bagenda ne bamwerabira. Don't joke with us. Seetaga genda ku Harvard University kusoma politics. I come from a family biri mu musaayi. Kyenjagala kyengamba nti kati kino kye tuba tukwatamu kino me I learn on job. I'm one person ntula mu bantu n'ensirika n'ekutunuulira. Era nze ndi quiet. Aliwe yaŋŋambye mbu kati weewombeza. Yeze ndi mwana muwombe. There are people who have met this Esther and they don't wish her to go back. They're like, no, I want this one. I don't want the quiet one. I have a friend and nange. Tayagala kwogera nange nga nsirize. Ayagala tukayane. Naye ate eno season eno tagisobola eno we mukayanya jiwa migo. Luli before 2020. Nga tukayana nga yagala nga bwensirika nga gamba tojja tulina okigusa. Naye kati yangamba, Esther, I don't know what's going on with you on Sobede. And in my mind I'm like, because you've never met me. And if someone you've never met, things cannot be as if we're on the same ground. There are things about me that I was hiding, that I was suppressing. I got tired of suppressing her. I've been suppressed for 35 years. I can't suppress her anymore. If you can't put up with the new me, then I don't think you're supposed to be on my journey. If I was able to put up with the kind of person you are, appreciate you, appreciate your small beginnings, who gives you the right not to appreciate other people? Who grew you? Parents, mwine empisa embi kati muzisiga abaana bammwe. Nammwe mwennyini muli selfish. Ndabye abantu abakulu benina okuyita bataata bamaama bajjajja. It's about their children. Gwe tobimanyi. Nze ndabye the other side of people through social media. Nesirikira bwe nti neŋŋamba really singa abadde mwana wo. Naye lwakuba tuva mu different backgrounds, ekyo kye kimpa maanyi. Neŋŋamba no, ewaabwe bwe batyo bwe bakola. Yes, toyina bunimba muzeeyi. Ekyo kati kankibabuulire, my fathers and mothers in the spirit. Muli selfish. You respect only your children and you want us to support your children. Then you keep telling us how you're raising children. Nze ndi muti. Nze ndi muti bannyabo ne basebo. Muyimirira ku bituuti ne mukunkumula enjiri, naye mukola the opposite. Neŋŋamba practicability ebadde ki? It is the truth. I don't expect fathers and mothers in the spirit abatambuddeko ne kitange to treat me like that. I could not, trust me, it took me a while. Neŋŋamba bono bawanayinki bandinkubye bano abatammanya batandabangako. Naye ssaabasajja n'abakyala batambudde ne bakitange. Nga mu 7 wali mulokole. Nga you were once under my father, nga ye mukadde w'ekkanisa. Leadership, oye. Nabuuza nina gwe nabuuza ne mugamba ye gye babakweka ne mugenda mu leadership classes ne babakweka ne mutabi posting ku social media ne mutuweereza ebifaananyi biki bye musoma. Bye musoma nga temubi practice nga nze nga kusaidia nge mumpisa bulala. Lwaki kusaidia nge muyina empisa embi? Kiki naye? Omusumba omulamba yagala tumuweereze prayer requests. You don't check your phone because Esther yasindise ebintu. Apostle omulamba olumala ng'ojjanga otusomesa about love. Apostle omulamba, Bishop omulamba ng'obulookinga nze ng'ongoba ku group olw'enjiri. How did you start? Who stood there by you to watch you grow? Someone saw you. N'agamba oyo, there is something special. Alimu omulamwa. N'akumalirako obudde bwe, n'akumalirako ssente ze, n'akuwa advice, n'akulera. Nze tebandeera, nze ddi mukulu. Azeke bannange. You want us to support your house of timbi akafaananyi kosanyuka nnyo ng'abantu bakalaikinze bakomentinze bakugambye happy birthday. Esther bw'afuluma luba lutalo neŋŋamba yeeye naye nno mwasanga omuntu nga ya my own fan. Nze mpositinga ebintu byange netambula neŋŋenda aba responding aŋŋamba ddamu nga neeyongerayo. I've done that for years. I am my own fan. Nze twakula nga baganda bange nga bwemba nkanzanya nga mmanyi okutuula nzekka nenkola ddole wange ow'ebyayi nenzanya nzekka nze mmanyi okuzanya nzekka n'osanga nga njogera nzekka. Mwampita muguwa ddalu nti nseka nzekka neeyogeza nzekka how I can talk alone on the group. That is a trait, that's a gift you can never find. I can send 100 messages. Nga nyumya nzekka. Nga bwenneddamu. People were like, Esther, onyumya otya wekka. I was trained. I don't need people to make me happy. I can do it on my own. It's something you don't have. That is why gokuteka mu isolation oyinza n'okugweri. It is special and it's for special people. Teach your kids to do that if you can. Akanako kajja kukabeerayo ne kagamba, Mami, I am missing people to whom what can I do? Ne kabeera depressed kona ne kagwamu. Nze nga ndi mulamu kizibu. Ngenda kutuula wano. Nkwate ebyokukola nina bingi. Nina ebitabo bingi ebyokusoma ndowooza obirengera ebimu waggulu ebirala biri eri mu mabox nga nzigyayo nkagamba. Nabasindikidde ebintu tebanziramu abayomba bayomba nga nkwate kaŋŋamba kiki naye I have a skill here. Nzigyayo akakatu kange. Olowooza nnyinza okubeera idols kizibu. Twabadde tuddawa tudde eno nkonzigyayo akakatu kange bwe nsoma bayibuli n'engikoowa nga ngivaako kangenda nkanduka akakatu kange. Olowooza nnyinza okufiira mu isolation kizibu mukwano ganduka akakatu kange. Gwakaanako tekalina sikiiro. Akaanako kali eyo kamanyi dedi memi kugenda out gwe mulimu nakwekubya bufaananyi nakweyambula bali ku TikTok na ku Instagram. Nze nga ndi eno neekolamu omulimu. Kino kiyigiriza patience, by the way. If you're not a patient person, if you don't know mathematics, you can't handle what I am doing right now. Kati nze tojja kunneesimbamu omaliko. Ngenda kunoonya wano akawuzi kammalira obudde ng'obwongo bwange bubeera active nga ndowooza kawuzi kalazeewo kagenzeewo mayindi yange neebeerawo erowooza akawuzi. Good. Gonkakyusa. Bible yagamba knitting together. Tugamba what do they mean in knitting together? The only way you can break this is by cutting it. Bwe nkasiba tosobola kajjayo please. Kino kye nasooka okuyiga before I used the machine. There is a girl. She was staying in where is that? Eri nge wali Eden Miracle Center. Eri luddawo eri mu ngobe bayitayo nyanama mugobe endowooza eyo mu nfuufu eyo bypass gyeyita kati 1000 bypass gyeyita that road yes oyo omukyala gyabeera ntambuzanga ebigere neŋŋenda nga nva Esseguku ekatale omukyala excuse me ayina sister we bw'ova Esseguku mu katale before after doctor's clinic or before doctor's clinic, let me remember. I think after doctor's clinic, after doctor's clinic, waliwo omuwala atunga amasweta. Mpozi kati nga yavaawo nga government yamugyawo. Yabeerangawo ku side waliwo n'omusajja nga akola gates. Nga kati ye yandagirira sister we akozesa obuti. Because I was looking for a school. Nga esifunye mirimu kati I was looking for a school to come nakembeko. I learned to make sweaters because it's a passion. I love sweaters. So I looked for something I love. For us, we do what we love. We are not forced to do what we don't love. Then I used to pay her 5K. Yali ayagala emitwalo 2 naye nga sizirina. Nga ntambuza bigere kati omuntu atambuza ebigere atonsaba emitwalo 2. My cousin ye yasooka okumpa sente nga wakyakola kati nga yampa 15,000. Lumuna mugamba nti nno mbadde nsaba kunyamba naŋŋamba ogenda wakoze ekindi oke 15,000. Namugamba nnyabo sirina. Nantunuulira namala nampa 15,000. So yampanga 15,000 oba buli wiiki. Kati neŋŋenda eyo munnange. Nange neŋŋenda eyo omuwala nanjigiriza okuluka we bati. I had to look at her account yanange. Mama wange yagamba. Nagamba, this life. Nangamba Esther ng'omugamba okutunga akatuli tasobola katunga. Yes, yebale kujja. Mama wange yansanga nga nfijitinga adding sweaters like joining the parts to make a hand like ngamaze okutunga we bati ku machine then nansanga nga ntunga nantunuulira what and she was mesmerized nagamba because when I was growing up she didn't see me interested in clothing and textile. It's my sister who follows me and the other one who did it even in school. I did woodwork, technical drawing and woodwork in Mengo. Things to do with these things, it wasn't my thing. It is my sister who has it in her stream because Mama does the chalani. It's one of the things we are so byategira byayagala nnyo, and she helped some people to learn and it became their business till date. Naba connectinga ne ku bantu mu Kampala ne bafunira we bakola ne bazimba n'ennyumba out of ekyalani through my mother. Naye olw'okuba abantu twerabira ate tetuweebaza ate tetujjukira. Mama wange yakuwa amagezi nakuconnectinga ku mutana kuyamba. My mother has done that for many women in church and men. Never in name of family. Kati nange omukyala gamwe 15,000 gantulawo nanjigiriza like for an hour. Netula nanjigiriza nenjiga mpola mpola kati time came and I was like I need to look. I have a family friend natwala ewam China. There is a school in Seguku area of Japan. Nengenda yo mnange kati anti gye yasomera naye ekyalaani kati nange nengenda nengamba kangende mnange nsome nsobole okuyiga ekyalaani because I had the machine. And Tata had quarreled. Tata yavaayo nantwalanga kaguddeyo nagamba my sister's machine cannot sit here. Who's it? Everyone was like, Esther. I'm like, I'm finished. I told Tata sibimanyi. Nangamba, what do you mean tobimanyi? Nangamba, I don't want to see that machine seated there. And in my mind, when he was talking, in my mind I was like, you don't have money to give me. You know it very well I don't work. And now you're telling me ngende tunge chalani. I was like, this man wants me to steal. I can proudly tell you that the sweater business fed me for a full year, 2015. God connected me to people. Friends, I met someone in 2010. Esther, where did we meet? We went to Bulenga for someone's dad had died and they had the last funeral rites. So we slept in Mulumbe. That's how I met a circle of friends who not only became friends but they became family. How did I meet these guys? I met Janice Mukulu in Chambugo University. Through Janice, I met a packer of friends that has Deo Kaketo, Nsubuga Alan, Gan. Gan is a short name. It's Godfrey Alan Nsubuga, the man behind Chitiwa Restoration Foundation. Hope. Mama Mu Lockdown. You've seen me post it around. Then I met Mlondo Victor. Through Janice, I met Mlondo Victor first. Then I met the other pack that had Dewo and Alan. They met me in Masoli, at Janice Mukulu's home, her parents' home. I remember that is where we moved from and went to Bulenga and spent the night Ewaba Alan Gan. That's how I went to Alan's home. I remember when Alan fell sick, we went back to pray for Alan. Alan yali afudde. That's why there's a time he wrote something on Facebook and he's like, please come back, and he's like, my prayer warriors, we have stuff to pray about. As you prayed last year, I have another list of prayer requests. Include marriage, please, or kadi. I love joking and playing around with my friends. Nemugamba I am reporting for duty as usual. And I think that was now end of 2010. He said he has a list again. End of 2010, because yalwala mu 2010. So end of 2010, he releases a list. And we prayed for him. Netumugamba kati marriage tumutekako. And this year in November, they are celebrating 8 years in marriage. In October, his friend Victor celebrates 7 years. I keep dates in my head because my friends mean the world to me. That is me. I know people's birthdays, their children, their marriages, everything. Even if I get busy, I know people's anniversaries. When you have friends, those are things that make meaning. That is how Esther builds her empire. Celebrating an anniversary is very important. Spending a year with someone, gota kulana year, is not a joke. Marriage is not a joke. It is not an institute where you sit, and you're fee. My friend, some people could not even make it 1 year. But if someone makes 7, 10, 11, that is a very big thing. Not everyone can make it. 1 month people walk out, nze binalaba byakiyayo oli musiru toyina amagezi n'osigala wekka. That's how I went to Alan's home. Then through Alan I met his siblings, all of them. Then through them I meet. Then at night, when we went for the funeral rites, for the last to bust the disease, I met other people, men like Godi, then Adrian Kayongo. Now with Adrian, we took it a notch higher. I went to Adrian's home. There's a time Adrian got an accident. on Ginger Road. And we went to see Adrian. He was sick. I remember that day. That is the day Victor and Alan got to know where I stay, because they drove me from Adrian's home to my home. Now that is how those got to know where I stay. But I don't know whether they still remember where I stay. It was actually with Janice too. We were 3. We were 4. And they met my mother. It was at night. It was the first and last time they met my mother. They've never gone back to see my mother. Apart from Janice, because she's a service provider. And Janice has always been in my life since 2004 to date. For her, she has met my mother more than once. The other people met my mother once, and it was at night. Do your friends know where you come from? That is how it started like that. We did not know we are building an empire. Now we have Chitiwa Foundation, Restoration, Hope. It started as Mama lockdown. And when I was leaving the country, it is the couple that I said bye to was Alan Gunn Nsubuga and Tash Talija Shamina Nsubuga. I went to their home to say bye. I have my book here where I wrote, Alan told me, Esther, we want to start something. Because they gave birth to a daughter and called her Chitiwa. And I was the one in hospital with Shamina. Her friends, the corporate class, abajja n'ebirabo, they came nga tumaze olutalo. I walked from Bugolobi on foot to go to hospital to see Talija in Nakasero Hospital. I prayed for her. I sang. I stayed in the fire. We prayed, we sang, we did it all. I know how to comfort a pregnant woman. Because I had done it with Janice Mukulu. I had done it with my cousin. I stuck in the fire. Nga mikwano gyaffe abali ba ssente abaagala ebifaananyi tebannajja. Nze siri wa bifaananyi, siri wa pate. Nze ndi wa mirimu. I have a friend called Mutaka Joseph. When we were at Victor's wedding, he told me, Esther, I want you to be part of that team, the organizing committee for my marriage, when my time comes. At a time, he was in love with someone, his current wife. I smiled and I said, we shall see, because I knew I was leaving the country. I already knew, but I didn't tell them. And I told him, we shall see. I remember standing with him. It was Mutaka, Solomon Semakula. There is a young man, Obuwa Philip. James Nkubi was not. James Nkubi was the chairman for Victor's wedding, so he was up and down. I was with the boys because I was part of the service providers via food. We made sure we served the food on time. It had rained that day a bit, I think. We were at the gardens of NFA. I remember everything. I remember that day when all was said and done. People sat in their cars and left. I remember walking to get a taxi to go to Luzira, because now it was getting late. I didn't want to go back to Seguku. I went and spent the night in Luzira. I wore a navy blue dress. And I was very sick, but you could not tell. So among those, I met very good friends that stood with me till death. And someone sponsored my school for sweater project. I wanted 120,000 Ugandan shillings to learn how to make the sweater with a machine. When it came to the design, they told me I need to pay 400,000, which we did not have. So I was like, Esther, you studied, you can interpret. You have books, read them. I interpreted the books. I could not get anywhere. And I'm like, Lord, how do we go about this? Because the machine I had was a design machine. I prayed and I told the Holy Spirit I do not know what to do. I sat on the machine the whole day. There was nothing coming out. I got frustrated. I went to sleep. I prayed and I left the machine and I went to sleep. Then in the morning, I woke up very early in the morning. I did my housework as usual. And by 7 a.m. I was seated on the machine. That's how much I respected my thing. I sat on my machine and I told God I am back. I need now to understand. I got the books again. This is someone teaching myself design. When I sat down to do my designs, and the first thing that came out, it was tight. It was a tight paper. That's one thing you have to know. I didn't know how to do it, but I did it. After praying, I was making one small mistake. One small mistake. The Holy Spirit showed me where to put. Because I kept on looking at the thing and I'm like, what does it do? And I had a voice. Put the thread like that. Because I looked at the book and interpretation was a problem. And I'm like, Wanage, we studied geographical interpretation. Why am I not seeing it? Why am I not seeing the coffee? They send you pictures in S4 and they tell you to interpret and see if it is a coffee plantation. I was like, I'm not seeing the coffee. I'm like, good. I cannot do plain sweaters. I cannot compete on the market. Everyone is doing plain sweaters. I need something special. And I had good thread. I was like, I need something special. And a voice told me, put the thread there. I was missing a thread to put a thread in something. And after doing that, let me tell you something. I just moved it once and I saw the colors change. I looked and I'm like, the colors changed and I did not look back. I moved, everything became different. The joy, I wish you saw me that day. I wish you saw me. I was looking for, when you go on Facebook and you look at my pictures, I have my Facebook is something else. I did the designs. It was mesmerizing. I got so excited, like I felt complete. It even felt more good than the day I felt good when I graduated. To me, that was a graduation. I was very mesmerized. I'm trying to look for the pictures that it's a bit for. I was like, my goodness, what is this? I was very excited. Hey, you don't know. I was very excited. I felt all the love. I jumped up and down. I could not wait to tell my mother and my siblings. It was amazing. Like, it meant a lot more than my engineering life. I could not believe it. Esther, why aren't you getting the pictures? These things also. I am looking at your birthdays, how I celebrated you in 2020 and ngali ku rampage. Ngoyinza okugamba bagenda kunsasula. I taught myself to do that. That's what I was, this young lady's brother was abroad and she wanted a sweater for him. I did this for her brother. Now the thing you see here there. That was a mistake. But it came out as a design. I designed that sweater myself. I designed that sweater. That is a photo I took with Kasule. I designed that sweater. This sweater was, a young girl was she was coming to the US. She got a job with Google. She wanted something with Google colors, but me being someone who's just starting, I could not do the Google colors. So I did that for her, and it was, she loved it. A friend of mine wanted a sweater that looked like an army thing. It had patches. I had to teach myself that. And it had designs somewhere. My friends believed in my work. They supported my work. That is me with my small hustle. And at the time I knew Dixon Mushabe, and I had read his book, and he said, your first supporters of your business are your friends. Dixon Mushabe supported my work. I did pullovers for them, for Hostelite Uganda. I remember I gave him a sample, and I told him to keep it as a souvenir. It wasn't supposed to be worn. I told him to keep it as a souvenir because I'm the type who, history helps me go higher. Those were my small beginnings. I told him to keep my sweater. Like, I asked him to keep it for me. I gave it to him. He wasn't paying for it because it did not have the bands, like the band like you put here, so it did not have it. And I told him to keep it and either frame it or something. I asked him about it, but he has never answered me what he did with it, because I had requested him to keep it. I requested him to keep it so that I can remember where I came from. I don't know what he did with it. I was going to keep it, but because it had the Hostelite Uganda things, that's why I gave it to him to keep it. And I told him when time comes, I would love to look at it and remember where I came from. He gave me an opportunity to make things for his company, and I fidgeted with the work because I had to go near Uganda House. There was a man. There's a company that sells sweaters. There's thread. They do the sweaters also and the thread. So I went there for them to make for me, to put the logo. They had the machine that puts the logo. That's where I did the logos from. And it wasn't easy. I couldn't beat the time. I could not give excuses that I'm just new in the thing. Oh, perfection was an issue. And my auntie had taught us, especially she told my sister, never give a customer work that is not perfect. Don't play with people's money. Because my aunt is an expert, Muchalan. Daddy's sister, the one who follows. So I had to put all that into play while doing my own things. My friends supported my hustle. My friends bought sweaters. I have a friend called Carol Naevale. She misses... I forget her husband's name is a little bit hard. I made a sweater for her child. It was green in color. I don't know who still has any of my products to date. Oh, I have one person who still has. He normally wears it. I made a pullover for him. It was actually the person that paid for the project when it was starting, that paid for my school fees. He still has the pullover. It's ash gray. I love ash gray. My dad's wedding, he wore a gray suit. I love ash gray with a passion. There is a sweater there's a picture I posted on my status that had the word love on it, and the sweater I was wearing, I gave that to Janice Mukulu as a present. It had pockets, but it didn't have, did it have a belt? I made a belt for it. The way I made a belt for mine, I made a belt for my sweater, the one I normally wear that has a lot of colors. That one has a lot of colors because the thread was finished, and I had small thread, so I added thread here and there to make this. I added thread. This I did not intend to do this. Thread was finished. This is called a cardigan. The ones that are open, yes, I think they're cardigans, and the ones that are closed are sweaters. And I made one which had a scarf attached to it. That design, Pastor Victor Luwama, I told him I wanted to make a sweater for him. So what he told me, I have a sweater, I love it so much, it was cream in color, and he said he wants something with such a design. That's why I got the design of the scarf on the sweater. I had to teach myself how to attach a scarf on a sweater. And I remember a lady who was selling obuviri bw'abakyala. She was into wigs and things to do with women hair pieces. She was seated in that building near Mutasa Cafero, the new one as you're going to Chiseka. Not Chiseka. As you're going to, is it called Chiseka? As you're going to the buses that go to Arua, that road from the old taxi park, and that new building there. So I went, she saw me give Carol the sweat of her child. Then she's like, oh, I also want. Then I'm like, what do you want? She's like, I come from Kabale, it's cold, I want something warm. I'm like, do you want a sweater, a cardigan? So I had to explain to her what I was talking about. She's like, she wants a cardigan. I'm like, okay. Then I showed her a few things I've done, and she's like, put a scarf on it. I put pockets, I put buttons, I put a scarf. It was in a peach color. I spent the whole night. I did not sleep that night. It was heavy because I used UK thread, the yarn, they call it yarn. It was heavy. I spent the whole night on the machine, and in the morning I took it for her, and she was only going to pay 50k, which is $15. When I gave the sweater to the lady, she looked at it like this, turned it, and she's like, this is too heavy, I will not take it. The lion in me, the eagle, the bird in me, the fact that I am a master's level, my bachelor's came out. I boiled inside. I looked at this woman who is selling obuviri bw'abakyala bw'atamanyi nawe babuteeka ku wig. I looked at her with this eye. If she had seen what was inside. If you're to get that sweater, you can pay $1,000 for it. I looked at this woman. Ne mmutunuulira okuva ku mutwe paka ku bigere. and her friend noticed. I got the sweater, I folded it and put it in the bag. I gave Carol, is that the day I was giving Carol her sweater? No, that's not that day, because she had seen me give Carol a sweater, because Carol how I met that woman, I had gone to give Carol the sweater of her child, and Carol had gone to do her hair. I got my sweater, I looked at her, looked at her friend, I looked at the shop, and I walked away. They all turned and looked at me. I walked away and I went to Barton Street. At the time, the wife to Pastor Victor James Ruwama, they're into bridal things. She was, her shop was opposite Barton Center, but you enter inside that building. I entered, nemubuuza maama, nemugamba maama njagala onnyambaliremu eno sweater olabe oba onyumye. When she wore the sweater, it was fitting her perfectly. Nemugamba maama, God bless you. I told myself, Lord, I'm not selling this sweater. I am going to sow it as a seed into a pastor's wife. Nemugamba Mukama nkooye okummanyiira. I cannot spend the whole night awake. And I did such lovely work, and someone belittles my work. And on top of that, she cannot afford to buy it. I was giving her as a pocket change. I walked away smartly, majestically, and I took my sweater and I sowed it as a seed into a pastor's wife. There are people who hide behind the false belief that everything worthwhile has already been thought of by people who are cleverer than they are, and that it is therefore not worthy the trouble to start something new. Nothing could be further from the truth. The world is full of ideas that are waiting to be developed. True Christianity is applicable to every phase of life, and if it is to be effective, it must encompass your entire life. True Christianity can never be confined to the inside of the church. Why do I tell you a few things that I've gone through? As a Christian, for you to understand how God works, you need to understand the things that you already know, for you to apply God's things. But if you don't understand, when you teach about love, you need to have the practical skill for you to put that love you're teaching us about. You keep saying how you're representing Jesus, but when I look at you, if Jesus was in our generation right now, I don't know. I don't know. If Jesus was to be right now, I don't know. If Jesus is to come back right now, I don't know. But since you're going to die anytime soon, prepare yourself. True Christianity is applicable to every phase of life. And if it is to be effective, it must encompass your entire life. Colossians chapter 3, it has a verse that says, whatever you do, let it glorify God. Do it for the glory of God. Do it for the glory of God. Unfortunately, we are doing things for our own glory. For people to know me, for me to be put in the newspapers, like I come out with my ideas for you to support them so that I get money, and the money I get is to put food on my table. Those are chicken lifestyle. It is only a chicken, it ends on the plate. A turkey ends on the plate. A duck ends on the plate. I don't live such a lifestyle. You can live it, my dear. It's okay. But I don't fly with ducks. I don't fly with chicken. I don't fly with turkey. A turkey's end game is a plate. My end game is on the plate. Nah. It has never been. I've always been an eagle. The bird. I don't fly. I have tried to fly with the chicken, but I just get suffocated. Because the chicken, it's about kutakula na kuwambatira bwana bwayo. Buli saa nkulaba okwata obwana bwo. Family yange, twakalaba family yo nuclear. It's about your small family. That is a lifestyle of a chicken. Mwenna mbalabye nga mubikola. Ova ku bwana bwo. Oyisawo obwana bwo bw'otinkiza bw'oteeka waggulu, abalala si bantu. Kahasoko omwana, oba nange mwagira omwana wange. Kati ife abatalina bazadde kugenda nga babakuŋŋanya nga babagamba bannange muwagire Esther Solome bannange ne gujja abagira. Ekigambo ego tokimanyi, kirabe bulabi, nze nkubuulira. The ego. Mugiwulira buwulizi. Binyuma okusomesa, nze nkubuulira. Binyuma nga tubisomesa naye okubitambuliramu. Maneya ne mamye. Ndaba abantu nga babisomesa ne mbatunulira bwenti. Nangamba ekisa kya Mukama waffe Yesu Kristo kitumale. Kati wali bano abasaakanya amiina bikoma mu amiina. Mu kkanisa omuntu n'afiirwa n'akaaba yekka. Birthdays celebratingako z'abamu n'obuuza abalala si ba member of the church. If you choose to celebrate everyone in the church, celebrate all of them. Abakulembeze bonna mba celebrating. My mother's birthday was on the 10th of October. My father's birthday was on 3rd September. We used to do a joint birthday something with the late Solomon Sengendo because he was also born on the same day. Then one of his grandchildren was also born on 3rd September. So we would have a joint something. And we made things like this for Daddy. The late Solomon Sengendo. Me and my sister and my dad, because my dad loves unique things and we love the art. My sister can draw things. I also learned how to write on boards. Now my sister would draw and write. Then that is what we did for him on one of his birthdays. Then I bought a cup. There was a time I bought him a cup and it was the only cup he was using at home. The late Solomon Sengendo. We drew this. Tata, now me, I contributed on the wood cutting and joining the wood together. Tata supervised our work. My sister drew the pictures. Tata told her what to do and she drew the pictures of the scriptures. And we put a rod and stuff. Oluga n'omugo. Mukama gwe musumba wange. Olugalo n'omugo gw'obyo ebinsanyusa. Psalms 23 and verses 4. From Bamama, Nachimera Esther Solome and Wanyana Julia. Netukolera birthday present. Netukolera that. It's still in his house. No one moves it. You don't move the mama's present. We shall beat you up. Good. Kati me and my dad, now me I cut the wood, my sister does the art. You see that one? It is in my mother's sitting room. When you go there, it has nze n'ennyumba yange tunaweerezanga Mukama. Joshua 24:15. Then we have another one. When you sit like this after entering the house, up there like this, there is another oval one. Me and Tata, we cut the wood. My sister does the art. It has yogera Mukama omuddu awulira. 1 Samuel 3:10. Those who have gone to my parents' house, you will find such things in the house. We did it, didn't we? My sister made sure it has the art, paint the body. Me and Tata, I cut the wood because I did woodwork. Kati Tata, we go with Tata kumulimugwe, and she perfects it like. Then we sandpaper it. I did woodwork in Mengo Senior School. I put my skills in order. And you're saying, go man, tate kabintu ya soma practice. Sorry, cham. Good. That is how we work with my father. Mukama yogera omudu awulira. Those things are in my father's house. Okay, let me share on the status. And you will see. Should I will some other time. Continue. True Christianity can never be confined inside of the church. All constructive ideas have their origins in God. Eyo business jokola ya Mukama. Agamagesi ge wavuddeyo ekitabo kya Esther kirimu beauty. Engeri gye baawunda abawala. We are looking at Esther. I'll bring her back. I don't worry. I don't drive the classes. Good. All constructive ideas have their origins in God, the great creator. Those who wait on him in an attitude of excited anticipation, who are sensitive to his guidance, will be open to new ideas. Why you're not shifting and you're still on the same kind of thing, God is not part of your things, yet it is his idea. It is a God-given idea, but you're selfish and you don't respect small beginnings. You don't support anyone, but you want to be supported. You want me to put you on my status and tell people about your work business. Now me, when I come out to tell you, I'm going to tell you, you shut me down near you. Open your Bible in the book of Job. Esther, what is the time? You cannot teach me about certain things you don't do. You can't. That is being a hypocrite. I have been treated in a way that is mesmerizing. And I'm like, wow. There is nothing as hurting as people giving you a silent treatment. Ate kati temanyi technology bwakola. Meta changed WhatsApp in an amazing way. You have to be very, very sharp to know. I know who read my things and who don't. Eri abajjako ne blue ticking. Eri abalala ekyaliko, but they've never checked for months. And they also have an idea they want Esther to be part of. Omulala nakulaga nti akublockinga. I was like, naawe oli mulokole. Abamu bakuba ennanga mu kkanisa, abalala batusomesa ebintu. Nabo balokole. Bawanika ne scriptures. Omanyi ndaba abantu nga bawanika scriptures ku status zaabwe, but they are doing it for fun. Ngero oyagala ngoberere Yesu, kigenda kuba kizibu. True disciples, hello, season y'aba disciples. Omanyi mbatunuulira, these are simple small things. This is how we lose out on people. No gamba naye kiki. It is because tuyina empisa embi. Katonda nobeera ku mukantu kamu nga tovaawo lwaki oyina empisa embi. Waliwo abantu bentunuulira nga kalevo kwali si kwalina okubeera. Katonda ono mumuzannyisa. toyinza kwagala kuyamba nga gwe toyina gw'oyamba. Ge mazima ge mutayagala twogereko. Nze nja kugogerako. Nze waliwo yaŋŋamba n'aŋŋamba Esther teweesiba ku bantu. You can't. Like kiki otegeeza seesiba ku bantu? Oyagala nkwagale. Oyagala nsupportinga ekintu kyo. Kyokka gwe tokikola ate toyagala kugambako. Excuse me. You feel very happy nga nkutte akasimu kange ne nkukubira. Nze bwe nzija okukubira weefuula bize tokwata simu ate mbagambako. I was like, you know what? Saagala kunyiiga. Let me stay alone. Nze ndi wendi because of the things nze okujja okusomesa ffe baabituyigiriza ewammwe communication is poor. Nze kasita nkola omusango n'omuntu omulala n'otusanga nga tuyomba. When you start siding, no just you blame me. Mwana ogenda kuba okoza loosi. Before nga tonna blaming anti gunsinze. Nze bwe gunsinga nvayo ne neetonda. Nze bwe gunsinga nvayo ne neetonda. Nze bankuza nga saying I am sorry. Nakiyonka buyonsi. Nze sibika kibi kyange. Nze sikola mbu simanya forgive, forget and move on. Ebyo bintu byammwe ne sitaani. Lwaki nvaayo okwetondera? There is a particular work. Nina we ngenda okuyita. Nga gw'olina okumpisaawo. Naakomawo ntya okukusaba okunyamba nga nagenda nyonoona reputation yo. Nga sajja nakugamba nti munnange nsaba kunsonyiwa. Munnange Alooni nsaba kunsonyiwa. Kati ate nenkomawo ewa Alooni nga nzija nzunga. Because abalala byonna tebabisobola. Alooni yabisobola. Buli omu alina kyasobola ng'omulala takisobola. Tuyinza okuba nga ffenna tuyimba. Mukwano bwe ndeeta abayimbi ne nkuteeka ne kojja wange ojja kudduka. Kojja wange atendesa abaana. He can sing it. Kiri kirabo kiri mu musaayi. Ebyaffe biri mu musaayi. Gwe gy'obonaabonera ng'opimpinga obuloboozi. Ffe tetupimpinga maloboozi. Bwe tugapimpinga ate tuyitawo buyisi bw'essubi. Ebyaffe bizaale. Kyekyo lwaki olaba tetwagenda kuyimba mbu tunoonya ssente. Naye nga bwe tusalawo ne tugamba kati tugenda kolabo kuyimba kunoonya ssente. Zonna tujjaze kukumba. Abayimbi bangi naye abasobola okuyamba bannaabwe batono. Temulina mpisa. Oyagala tuwagire kihaso kyo. Naye mmwe temuwa bannammwe abatandika obutandisi. Nga nedda nange nali ntandika butandisi. Waliwo eyankwatako. Abamu muzze ebweru. Eriyo yakwatidde kisanaga gundi katumukwate tumutwale. Naye ate tonfoosi nga nze baŋŋamba nina empisa embi. Olw'okuba ŋŋanye okufumbirwa abantu. Neŋŋamba bannange mwanyamba ki? Okuteeka no applyinga ku kompyuta. Baali bagenda kundyamu ssente nga banfudde bizinensi nga balowooza sikimanyi. Eri abantu abagamba mbu banfunira abasajja naye ng'omusajja ayagala mpapula. I know how it works. Nze gwe mwogera naye ndi very sensitive in the spirit. Nze sikola bintu bya buli mulala byakola. Ewaffe bwe mba waakufumbirwa nina okuba nga nkwagala. Nze ate wenfumbirwa sikola divorce. Togenda kunsibako matu ga mbuzi gye saalidde. Toyinza kuvaayo n'okolera muntu kitu n'olyoka omugamba nti naffe twakuyamba. Bannange gw'omanyi abantu be tuyambye nga naawe mwoli. Nabagamba nti munnange bwe liba bbanja nga za ssente nja kuzibaddiza. Nze kasita ondeetako olugezigezi nga nnoonyereza nabuuza bannange green card gye nnina bagisasulira. Ne baŋŋamba nedda. Ne mbagamba good. Kubanga singa badde bagisasulira nandibawadde ssente ze bassaamu. Esther twassaamu obudde bwaffe Mukama mwali mukolera mmwe. Katonda yabalonda na mu 2004. Naye nga tannabalonda mu 2004 yabalonda ng'omuwala baakamuzaala. Mama wange n'amulera. Kati ne mama wange aveeyo ng'amugamba nange nakuyamba. Omanyi ekitegeeza omuntu okulera. mubeeremu n'omwoyo w'amagezi nga mukola ebintu, mukwate obulokole mulokoke ebituufu. Kiki kyotegeeza nti mwannyamba nga temulina 10 kye mwateekamu? Bannange, season gye tulimu abantu abapplyinga to get the green card gye nafuna tebakulimba nti bya ssente. Bw'aba talina budde butuula ku kompyuta, tuula ku kompyuta yo obyekolere. Ekitono ennyo kye baali bagenda obbawa $2,000,000 nze nga nfuuse beeti nga balowooza sibitegeera nti era siribimanya. You can't force me to do something so crappy. You're just selfish human beings. Abasumba bawoza forgive and forget and move on. Ng'abantu bongera bikola bamenya emitima gy'abantu. Oyo Katonda nabaki gwe muweereza? Kyokka muzadde abaana. What mesmerized me? Between 3 months, from now and 3 months back, omukyalo omulala nga maama n'abiddamu. N'agamba oyo omwana alina empisa embi agenda okuyamba banne. Mbumbawo empapula bampase. N'agamba naye abalokole mwetaaga miggo. Mbayambe kuki? Mulina abaana, lwaki temuwayo abaana bammwe ne babawasa? Okuggyako okwagala okuyiikiriza. Mwe muba muzaala muzaale. Lutalo. Nze mukwano sajja kuno kulya ssente nga obulamu bwange bwajja kusabira Uganda. Green card yange bw'oba ogyagala ogenda kuyiga okusaba. Ndabye abantu nga bankyawa tebaagala kwogera nange olw'okuba baabimanya, please. Omanyi mwagala olugambo. Ani yakugamba nti okugenda mu Amerika genda mu ggulu? Omanyi Amerika bwekunya ggwe. Ye ngenda kirabinga in. Tulina okwenenya. Abantu baakubwa lw'ebyo ebintu ne baleeta ebikolimo ku nnyumba zaabwe. Ekintu kyali kitono nnyo. Ne bakyescalatinga nze ngenda okumanya ebintu byange ng'abantu babimanyi nga byatambula dda. Kyokka Ugandans. Kati abatamanyi mazima ne balyoka bakisajjusa. Ne ngamba abange. Nalumba maama musumba kintu ne mugamba maama njagala ombuulire. Taata wange omumanyi ne mmange. Taata wange advocated for righteousness. How do I wake up, get married, divorce because of documents? Who does that? Nga taata wange yababuuzanga abange ogenda ebweru Mukama yakugambye. Bonna baanyiga be yabibuuza. Era Mukama baataagamba kujja bweru baabagoba mu America, please. Ne banyigira taata wange. Up to date. Kubanga tebagendanga namulaba omukadde w'ekkanisa. Obiddangamu. Mulowooza okulokoka mu kiyita kyangu. Oba olowooza kuyisa mukka mu kisero. Abala ne bagamba nti tatange yabakolimira. When I was coming to the US, my dad did the same thing kyeyakola back in that day. Nangamba Esther, Mukama yagembyeko genda ebweru. Era bwe yakingamba omutima ne gukola twa. I got so scared. Nengamba, hey, maitani. Naye Katonda ali amaze okwogera in 2000 about my traveling. But he'd never mentioned a country. Nze sadduka buddusi Uganda. I came for an assignment. Kutaasa mmwe kufa. Njagala oyogere ng'ebintu by'olinako omutwe n'amagulu. Bannange temunfunira baami. Omwami Katonda gy'ali yamulonda. Ate saagala mubeere na lugambo munoonya. Buli omu alina abaana be, abaana bammwe bawasizza, muli basanyufu, mulina n'abazzukulu. Kati tonoonyereza bitakwatako. gwe linda omwami bw'anaatuuka ekiseera we kinaatuuka nja kubagamba. Katonda yalonda omwami, yamulonda mu 98. Nangamba mu 2010 about that man. Nangamba Esther yatuma musumba James Victor Lwama. Nali nkaaba after a heartbreak, a relationship of 4 months ng'eweddewo. Namuyitanga sikibitegeera. Nze nawuliranga abantu kogera heartbreak nga sigimanyi. Nangamba Esther oyo muleka agende teyabaddewo. Nasirika nantunuulira nga gampitamu. Mukama wange yangamba gende katokola for a full week. Nangamba Esther, you can't be productive. Nakaaba nantunuulira bwati nangamba ne mugamba no, njagala mbuulire lwaki yankyaye. Nangamba oyagala confirming nti takwagala. I love you, Dr. Paul Segawa. Yawasa my OG Sunday school. How did I meet Dr. Segawa? Yansanga ku Bimco Consult e Bugolobi. Ng'akola ne mukama wange. He was a freelancer then. When I got tired, eri Bugolobi navayo because I was tired of how I was being treated. And I told God I want to stay here for only 1 year. When the year was done, trust me, fire came. I could not take it anymore. When the year came, when May 2010 came, I did not even think twice. The last day of May, I told him, I am sick. Please pay. And I go take care of myself. Nantunuulira nangamba bulijjo oli mulwadde. My first boss, ne mugamba yi, ne musirika ne mutunuulira. Ne mugamba I want to go to hospital. Nansasula emitwalo 5 beddu. At the end of May 2010, it was a Friday. Nefuluma. Nze bwe nkukoowa mbwe nkikoowa toyina ky'osobola kunkola. Abantu ne bagamba you cannot leave work when you don't have a job. Ne mbagamba watch me. Esther omuyita mmere. I left work on the 28th of May 2010. Kwanga on Saturday, Dr. Paul Segawa calls me when I had just resigned. On the 28th, I resigned. People told me, Esther, you cannot leave work when you don't have work. Nembagamba, I am tired. I just kept quiet. Because I kept on singing how I want to leave. And people are like, you can't leave when you don't have another job. I'm like, I will. Ngendo okulaba nga benyuma nabo tebabitegeera. I had set a goal. Nze when I set it all, era time bwetuuka tetukirwako. Nze when I went to work in May 2009, I told God I'm staying with him for 1 year. Nali nina okutandika okukola mu February after graduation. And I refused. I sent Miria Agunyo in my place. Me, when I make you wear my shoes, PhD is the level. She's a PhD holder. She applied in DARD and got a scholarship. I applied in DARD. They refused to give me. When I give you my position, I expect you to go up to the level of a PhD. She lectures in Mukono University. In the section of their environment. They have environmental engineering now. And she's one of the lecturers there. She was my coursemate. We were 3 girls when I was doing environmental engineering and management. When I was supposed to start working, I refused. I called Miria. And I'm like, Miria, do you have a job? She's like, no. Nemugamba, go work with Oti Moses. She's like, are you sure? Nemugamba, yeah. Nangamba, will he give me? Nemugamba, you go. Go in my place. Do you have friends like me? You don't. Esther, how could you give away your opportunity? That's what you call it. You don't know nothing. I protected people's reputation when they were destroying mine. They applied for Talo scholarships and they were hiding things. I asked them and they were just hiding them. I kept quiet. One of them Hanifa gets a scholarship with tallow oil, and she goes to Dundee, and she did things to do with oil. I stayed there. Miria became a lecturer at Chambogo University. And she was lecturing students in environmental engineering. I stayed there. I would keep quiet. He would give them the car. Me, I would walk. Because she could drive. I would walk. I know all the bufundas in Kampala. I did all the projects. Most of them I would go alone. Some I would go with Shiba and Agire. And on the 28th of May, 2010, I left work. While I was at home, in the morning on Saturday, Dr. Paul Segal calls. And he's like, hello, Esther. The first time I met Dr. Paul Segal, he had a white Forester. He's the first Ugandan I saw with a white Forester. After seeing it, I started seeing other people with other colors. Ngayogero Luzungu. I was like, hey. Him, David Nkutu. By the way, pray for David Nkutu. He lost one of his mothers. They buried her on Saturday in Ginger. I met, there is a gentleman called Peter and his wife. I met many practitioners through my first job. They were freelancers at a time. I met men like Katevaka Raymond. I met a lady called Kahubire Edith. Those are Uganda's big birds. She works with IMF now. Is it IMF or I something? Those people taught me things to do with environment. They are all big right now. Hanifa Lubega works with the World Bank. Edith went and worked with East African Development Bank. Then she left. She had an option of the World Bank, and then we talked about it. She was supposed to come to DC. She refused and took the other side and went to Cote d'Ivoire. Then they took her to Nairobi. Before I know it, now she's back with, is it IMF or something like that? She's a sociologist. She taught me things to do with social work. Because we have a section where we go and ask people what they think about the projects they bring. That's why I laughed at you guys. And I'm like, you think they can approve the pipeline, the gas pipeline, the oil pipeline, when they have not done environmental impact assessment and audits? That's a lie. They have to write to all the bodies that govern environment in both the countries. Have they finished building the refinery in Uganda? Do you know why they take the oil out of Uganda? Do you guys, is your refinery built? And I don't know, please bring me up to speed. Is your refinery finished to refine the oil? Or you're going to stay with the crude oil? Before you come out to say things you don't understand, manya, mana, ba onlookers oba mwakulirawa. We went to Kanungu, where they had Mapundu. and I think it was Dominion Oil. Mapundu was empty. They hit a dead end. They had 1 and 2. They contracted Dr. Segawa. He didn't have time. He sent me with a team as a terrestrialist. I told Dr. Segawa I did not study anything to do with birds or plants. He's like, Esther, there is a first time. I'm like, oh, okay. I went with a team as a specialist. When I went there, it was not Esther Solome, it was Dr. Paulo Segawa. And I did the work. It was mesmerizing. I did everything he needed, then I brought it, and Dr. Segawa did the rest. And the work was professional. Because they had trained, I was trained by the best. Moses Otim gave me Shiba and Dagile to train me. And everyone Shiba and Dagile trains, tick. She is good. For me to work with Paul Segawa, doctor, and David Nkutu, for them to take me, I was the first officer in their office. Arthur was the administrator. And when we get projects, I would go with Arthur. And we do all the work. Esther can do any work of any specialist. For them, they would just come and sign the books. And all our projects were approved when they have the right information. Because we went to the field. I did Wumeme work with Arthur of the power line that was going through Garuga. We did power stations monitoring and evaluation with David. It was me, David, Hanifa. Arthur was on the team. Dr. Segawa was part of the team. I think was Richard part of it. All over Uganda. When it came to Shell Uganda contracted us. And we did 26 districts. That project almost killed me. We came back, we did it in 4 days. There were 3 or 4. It was crazy. We had a double cabin and we had a stick in the car. We find those people who throw rubbish on the road, and David would pack his double cabin and bring out the stick and tells you to pick it up. David is very tall. The Kampala you see, the country you see that has good things, I'm part of it. Those are my small beginnings. I was trained by the best. We produced quality work. I want you to go to NEMA in their library. Get the books that have BIMCO and geotaxon. The years 2009, 2010, 2011. You're going to see my name in those books. And most of those books, when I worked with geotaxon, I am the brains behind putting the books together and editing the work. David taught me. I would send the work to them and they proofread and put the technical words, like especially when it comes to terrestrial things. When Esther does work, just know you're getting perfect work. Because I loved my work. Even when I was at BIMCO. I learned things. They taught me. I learned on job. Edith Kahubire taught me how to go to those villages and talk to people. A time came and I have to go on my own. We did those small petrol stations of Waba Somali. I designed a petrol station. Erikumpi ne Pastor Gembe's church, if it's still there. And that man paying us, it was an issue. He refused to pay the money we wanted. It's Anifa Rubega who got the contract. And she had a lot of work and she requested me to help. I did the designs of a petrol station in Chinawataka. There is a petrol station when you come from Chireka. That road that goes to Chinawataka, you pass the Larry and go up like this. There is a petrol station around there. It's me who did that work, and that petrol station belongs to the same man who owns like a petrol station near Pastor Gembe. It's me who did the work. And who taught me AutoCAD? Mabirizi Peter. He's my family. He's an architect. When he does work for you, up to the district level, and they approve, and he gives you a blueprint, we respect each other's work in my family. We might not be big as you want to call it. We are big in a silent mode. When I send you Peter Mabirizi to do your work, just be sure you're getting a blueprint approved by the district. I sent him to do some work from one of my mothers in 2016. I told him, please, that is my mother. And some people stood in the way at some point. I was called here and I was asked, who is this man you're sending to our mother? I said, it's my family. I was told, so what? And the person they wanted to do the work had worked with Peter. And he does not work well. He will not even give you quality work. Peter knew the guy. Don't disrespect people, you don't know us. And the money, Peter told Mama, don't pay. Mama was like, no, at least let me give you transport. Peter was doing the work for free. I told him, that is my mother. Peter designed a house for my mother, Mama Teopista. The person they wanted to do the work, he doesn't give quality work. He had worked with Peter before. When someone is an architect, we know the architects in town. We know the civil engineers on a big level. For us, we fly big. When I come to roads, Martin Uruwama will sort you. Constructing buildings, you don't know us. I don't send poor quality work out. I don't work with poor quality service providers. Excuse me. You want MCs? I have Luwama, Godfrey. I have MC Herbert, Nsereko. When Nsereko grabs your job, your function, you don't know. He's the dancing MC. You think you guys can talk? Don't joke around. He works with the Ministry of Health. Luwama is a teacher. He's an art teacher. The pictures you saw in the season when I was drawing pictures for people on their birthday, the Lord told me to draw pictures for people. People were stressed. I put a smile on someone's face and we pay hospital bills for Luwama's father. He died. I requested the boys around Pastor Robert to make an appointment so that they can pray for Mr. Sunday Luwama. He used to work on Google Day TV. And some people complain they don't like the photos. That is where his wife came out and said, Mbunu, I want to take the man and take him to America. I was like, and the church sat, their church elders sat, and God disqualified them. A full gospel. And they said, I am the problem, I want to take the man. My friends, I found out the age of that girl. She's older than me. She attended Chitevidde and Boarding Primary School. She was a class ahead of me. Luwama Godfrey. I met Luwama in 98. He was in S5, I was in S1. his father ngatula kachiko k'abamafumbe ekika ky'effumbe. My family members abakulu nga bamanyi taata we. I don't just do things for. Before you come out to say things byotategeera, respect people's small beginnings. You don't know me. Nze ebintu byenkoze n'abantu sibiteeka mu lujjudde, please. I don't fly with chicken, I'm an ego. Nagamba abantu batukolera appointment. Netukuba ekifaananyi kya Junior. Nenkubira bakatabi, neŋŋamba no. Ne mugamba Mukasa twala nakuba kya Mama Jessica. Nga njagala ebeere point of contact. Asobola okulaba Pastor Robert bakola appointment. Asabire taata we. The man carries the anointing. Lwaki tuba tugula time y'omuntu for what? Abalokole muswaza. Gw'oyagala abantu basupportinga ekintu kyo. Ebyaffe sooka kwegayirira munnange. Nze Esther Solome. Katonda wange. Lwaki tutinkiza bweru batusabire ng'amafuta gali mu nju? Lwaki bano abasajja okubatuukako tusooka kuyita mu poliisi? Musajja wattu yenna abeera eri n'agamba mujje abamwetoolodde. They choose who goes there. Kati nabavaako neetuukira ewa Yesu mwanatu. Neetuukira ewa Yesu. Nagamba sigenda kufa nga ndaba nga Yesu mmulina. Jja kutuula eno osabe Katonda wange kamponye. Nze sikyabonaabona. Ndeka mwana ndeka. Kiraasa ate levo ndala kati. Tata wange yaggulira Pastor Robert. N'amusimba, he carries the Moses anointing. Mwana wa Kabaka. Bwe mukyaza abagenyi from abroad, bagenda mwa Kabaka oba wa president. Yesu n'agamba kankonectinga abasajja bano. Waliwo omwana alina ekyambalo kya Kabaka. Nkwate ebisumuluzo. Nina gwe ngenda okubiwa naye nina osooka omukonectinga ku muntu alina amafuta genjagala. Oye muwadde ekikye naye tekijja kusobola kuvaayo singa simuwa ttiimu. Erimu abasajja abalina kye neetaaga kubanga bano abasajja balina kukolera wamu. When Pastor Gary Skinner came to Uganda, God wanted him to meet my father. So that bw'atandika okubuuka mu bbanga bw'ati. Aba abuuka kubanga yali ajja ku ground etali yiye. He's not a Ugandan. Yali ava Canada. Nga for him to work well on the ground, he needs to work with men basanzewo ne bamusimba. All he needed was to step on the same platform with my dad. And God opened Uganda for Pastor Gary Skinner. Naye tetuwangana kitiibwa. Tetumanyi kye kitegeeza okutambula n'abantu abalina royalty. Bw'obeera n'abantu nga ba presidents, Katonda aba akuggulira kiraasi ng'osobola okutuuka mu bakulu. God knew that Pastor Robert will be international. Naye yali alina omuconnectinga ku mafuta agali already ku ground. Amafuta geewammwe gakola nnyo okusinga gano goolingiza ebweru. For him to be able to fly the way he flies. God needed to connect him to men and women who have the power inside. My grandfather yali tava ku nnyonyi. He's an evangelist. Evangelist yagenda nga tuka buli wamu. But he needed to be connected to power. Temuyisa mbannammwe maaso. My dad never said much about himself, because God told him not to do that. He had his own assignments. Esther Rachitata otali bweru yagaana Mukama tamugamba nga kukujja. He was supposed to go to the UK with his sister. For us to just don't do things because all of you are doing them. Nedda mukwano. That is how God works. Esther nga muli baavu nnyo nga then you have what it takes. Mukwano totumanyi ffe tetuli baavu. Omwavu ye ggwe. Kubanga oli mukodo. Omwavu aba mukodo bw'afuna. Nze soka kwekolako. Wakeekolako ogenda kufa ng'okyekolako nga Mukama bye yakugamba okukola tokolangako wadde n'ekimu. Katonda